Your flying eggs are pretty impressive, Mr. Eggman, but let's face it.
A large number of video game players and parents of a specific generation accompanied their children to watch Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on its opening weekend, and everyone had a good time. We thought we'd share a few of our favorites with other parents who might be interested in taking their children to watch the sequel for the Blue Blur. With that, here are all of Sonic 2's best scenes.
I'm a hedgehog. I feel like that's obvious. And I'm in big trouble.
For as long as we can remember, Sonic the Hedgehog has been one of our all-time favorite video game characters, as well as the most cherished franchises. It's been that way since our parents got us a Sega Genesis Sonic the Hedgehog bundle in 1991. Most of us are 90s kids and even have our own children, and they're just as interested as we were 30 years ago. Today's generation, on the other hand, appears to be more obsessed with Miles' Tails' Prower. And when we say obsessed, we mean obsessed. So much so that some kids even refuse to buy the commemorative Sonic the Hedgehog 2 cup that is being offered in theaters because it included characters other than Tails. Considering how much the producers hyped Tails' debut in the first film, it's not hard to see why children were so obsessed with him. Clearly, the children were intrigued with the first film's finale. It's easy to picture how thrilled the kids were when Tails arrived in Green Hills, Montana through a ring portal and began searching for Sonic right away. The enthusiasm was overwhelming for both children and parents, and it was difficult to sit still throughout the entire movie with one exciting moment after the other.
This is what we're gonna do. Step 1, light taunting. Step 2, I have no idea.
When we saw Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik during the first movie's climax, he was stranded in a world that looked a lot like Mushroom Hill Zone from Sonic and Knuckles, where he was planning his vengeance on the Blue Blur. The crazy scientist put his idea into action months later in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but only after he tried and tried again to brew a cup of coffee using only mushrooms and a Rube Goldberg contraption. This scene is flawless in every way. Carrey's in a mode we haven't seen since '94. The plot was a success despite all the backlash the first movie had gotten, and it kicks off with Robotnik's tense relationship with Idris Elba's Knuckles, aka one of our favorite video game characters of all time.
I'm sure no one noticed that giant blue explosion, right?
The awesome dance-off approximately halfway through Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was the scene that was one of the most loved scenes in the whole movie. This was the scene where Sonic and Tails stumble into a lonely Siberian town while seeking the compass that would direct them to Master Emerald, and unsurprisingly, they immediately make a mess of things. They realize they're in the midst of a dance-off just the same as they assume they'd have to win a battle to avoid being tossed into the flames. Throughout the whole scene, audiences were thrilled with excitement, and partway through Uptown Funk, as Tails begins to copy himself into dancing army of foxes with two tails, the audience lost it completely. While we appreciated the sequence's choreography, you can bet the kids will be raving about all those foxes and their entertaining dances for a long time with their friends in school.
And I know you're real! No, I'm not!
We can't get enough of Jim Carrey's depiction of Dr. Robotnik, and we're hoping he's not genuinely quitting acting. He's fantastic throughout the film, but when he absorbs the Master Emerald and transforms into a godlike creature at the end, he's on another level. The awesome vocal modulation brought on by his power, the ability to change his leg into a guitar, and the formation of his enormous robot, which resembles the final boss from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, were all absolutely amazing. All of this reminded us of our childhood memories of watching Jim Carrey's Riddler become invincible in Batman Forever all those years ago. He seemed to be in his element and having the time of his life. Then you throw in Pantera's Walk as the giant robot marches towards Sonic, and we just can't handle our excitement. If you're a lover of rock music and retro gaming, especially Pantera and Sonic, you'll love this moment. Everything was just too beautiful. To be honest, it's a huge improvement over the previous film. Given how they botched Sonic's CGI and completely transformed him in the previous film from what he was supposed to be, the CGI this time around appears to be a lot better and more authentic to the characters from the video games.
This is my power, and I'm not using it to run away anymore. I'm using it to protect my friends.
Of course, we remember the gold Sonic scene. As a kid, there were only a few video game achievements more satisfying than collecting all of the chaotic emeralds, earning 50 coins, and then leaping into the air to transform into Super Sonic. Despite the fact that the change was hinted at in Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Ben Schwartz's character never fully transformed into the golden, supercharged figure in his initial appearance. That all changed when Sonic in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 got his hands on the Chaos Emeralds, and we were overjoyed. Dr. Robotnik believes he's finally dealt with Sonic, only for the Golden Hedgehog to soar up, wreak his enormous robot, and send the giant baddie packing. What's even better is that Sonic leverages his abilities to fabricate a chili dog, which is his all-time favorite food. This scene couldn't have been more perfect.
That wasn't too bad.
It's hard to blame people for enjoying seeing Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles finally come together to take on Dr. Robotnik in the closing scene of the movie. Even though there were signs throughout the movie that the legendary trio might reunite at some point, we were super excited when it finally happened. In all honesty, we were pretty sure it had something to do with Sonic the Hedgehog 2's baseball scene, when Sonic teaches the basics to a powerful but bewildered Knuckles before they head out for ice cream. Out of the whole climax, the sequence where Knuckles fails to grasp the laws of game and punches the ball instead of striking it with a bat was the most comical bit. But wait, there's more if you didn't even notice. Yeah, we're talking about the end credits scene.
Jojo! Untie mommy!
The end credits scene follows the slick credits sequence, which recreates the movie's events in a 16-bit manner. The sequence lasts roughly a minute after the credits have ended. After that, we see Gunn assessing the ruins after Robotnik's defeat, hunting for the mad scientist's body. But they must first deal with a few issues. The first is Agent Stone, who is disguised as a Gunn agent and on the lookout for the doc. The whole scene essentially revolves around the unexplained Project Shadow, an experiment mentioned in a long-lost file. It hints at a top-secret research facility as well as a top-secret weapon, which was the Black Hedgehog shown at the very end. But who is the Black Hedgehog? Easy. That's Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form, who was initially presented in the Sonic Adventure 2 video game back in 2001. His genesis story is a bit complex, but it can be distilled down to a few crucial facts. Gerald, Dr. Robotnik's grandpa, made him in order to rescue his sick granddaughter. The space station that held both Shadow and his granddaughter was destroyed, so things didn't exactly work out that way. Shadow is subsequently put into hibernation for 50 years before being reawakened, just like Gunn is planning to do after Sonic 2 post-credits sequence.
If you can't beat him, blind him.
What this end credits scene tells us is that there will inevitably be a Shadows versus Sonic battle, possibly in the threequel. And it's going to be an epic battle because Shadow is a powerful entity known as the ultimate life form for a reason, and he can use the Chaos Emeralds to trigger his chaos control abilities. If the filmmakers opt to closely replicate Sonic Adventures 2 narrative beat for beat, the two hedgehogs could almost certainly collide. At this point, there's nothing to imply otherwise, but we have some theories. Shadow could reawaken with amnesia and a jumbled promise from Gerald Robotnik's granddaughter going around in his mind, and he could strike out at the forces of Earth, including Gunn and Sonic, after recalling her demise. Or he could intend to use the Chaos Emeralds to ignite the world-destroying Eclipse cannon and join forces with Robotnik, who wishes to carry on his grandfather's legacy, all the while using the Eclipse cannon to hold the Earth hostage. But that's another story altogether. We'll just have to wait for the trailer for the third installment to find out. It's a small end credit scene, but it establishes a lot for Sonic 3. A remake of one of the most cherished games, a new villain, many new stories, and a motivation for Sonic & Co. to put their new Master Emerald power bump agreement into action as soon as possible. Which scene do you think was the best one? Let us know in the comments, and thank you for staying with us till the end of the video. If you like this video, like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.
Sonic, someone could have seen you.
No one saw me. I'm too fast. And I wanted to bring you this.